Hello guys, coming back at y'all with another Commander Tips video. As always, I pull off a few options for my patrons over on Patreon. Go check it out. The link to that will be in the description below. It's a great way to support my channel. You get to choose what legendary creatures I make my videos about. And just a reminder, because some people are confused about how I do my Commander Tips videos, this is just suggestions on how to build around them. This isn't actually going to be a deck list or anything referencing a deck I've actually built. Some people are curious about how certain commanders work and they want to see some suggestions or some strategies that you can go with. That's usually what my Commander Tips videos are about. I don't actually make deck lists for them. That is for my Commander Deck Tech videos. I know it can seem kind of ambiguous at times, but there is that main difference. Now this week they chose Tuvasa the Sunlit as the commander we look at. She is pretty cool. She's a 1/1, 3 mana and Bant for legendary Merfolk Shaman. She's going to get +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, and whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, you draw a card. Obviously this is going to have a theme around enchantments. Now what enchantments you go with, that's completely up to you. If you want to go with generic enchantments, you can go that route. Probably going to play generic ones anyway, but you could obviously go with a heavy aura theme and try to go with Voltron. I wouldn't blame you for doing that either, considering she does get +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, and there are a ton of enchantments that you can throw in that are just cheap and serve the only purpose of making her bigger. But the theme that I'm probably more likely to play with her is going to be Enchantress, and we have a ton of these Enchantress cards. We have Enchantress's Presence, which did get a reprint in the same deck, so don't worry about that. We also have our Gothian Enchantress, which is a little bit more expensive now. Verduran Enchantress. We have the new Satyr Enchanter, which pretty much does the same thing that you want the other ones to do as well. And Eidolon of Blossoms, which is arguably better than the other ones because it's just whenever an enchantment enters and you have ways of bouncing and having enchantments enter the battlefield, you can take advantage of that and end up drawing more cards. So the Enchantress theme I think is pretty strong because you can net yourself a ton of card draw, not only off the individual Enchantress cards, but you also have Tuvasa's Trigger, where you cast your first enchantment, you get to draw a card, which is just a great engine, very solid. And you could obviously just pair this up with a good creature engine, enchantment creatures, or other creatures that interact with auras, such as your Kestia the Cultivator, another good card included in the same deck. So you can have a sub-theme. I doubt you're going to go purely one way or the other, so you're going to want to include some decent auras and eventually try to go with combat. But we just have so many good value enchantments like Privileged Position, Blind Obedience, Aura Shards, Mirari's Wake, Propaganda cards. I mean, there's so many good ones that aren't going to be associated with the aura strategy. These are just good value ones that are going to sit on the field, while you also have something like a Sterling Grove or a Greater Auramancy out at the same time, protecting all of your enchantments, making it very difficult for your opponents to touch you. Also, cards like Asceticism work pretty well. But if you have the money, you can make this deck pretty good. Replenish is another expensive card, and you of course have Academy Rector, getting you pretty much anything you want from your deck. It's an enchantment, so if you want to draw a bunch of cards, you want to play a lot of spells, that's probably what I would end up doing. But you also have the aura route. If you decide to go with more auras, you could play Estrid the Masked, giving you those totem armor tokens, a way that you can protect your Tuvasa. And you of course have your other totem armor in Bear Umbra, or whatever one you want to choose. But the benefit of going with a heavy aura theme, I think, is going to be cards like Ethereal Armor that serve a similar purpose to Tuvasa, getting an insane amount of power. Eidolon of Countless Battles is another one that does a similar thing, and so does Sage's Reverie. So at that point, all you really need to do is just give her evasion, and you can start dealing commander damage pretty easily because your deck is entirely enchantments, or it should be. I'd find it hard to believe that you won't be able to play some variation of Voltron with Tuvasa, though we do have a creature like Core Spirit Dancer, which is another viable option if you want to throw a bunch of those auras onto another creature. She kind of does a similar thing to Tuvasa, but she gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to her, so her power can be even greater. And this is of course acknowledging the fact that we have a ton of very good enchantment creatures within these colors that don't necessarily do anything to synergize, but they're just great value in Commander. You have Archetype of Endurance, one of my favorite enchantment creatures. You also have Nylea, God of the Hunt, as well as Karametra. These are two very good gods. You have Krufix, you have Thassa. All of the gods are enchantment creatures from Theros, so those will definitely work out. So if you want to play more of a creature-based deck, I would probably go with Kestia if you want to do that, but you do have a ton of enchantment creatures that you can support your Tuvasa with, and it's going to get her +1/+1 for each one of those as well. But that's about it for the deck. It's not an overly convoluted strategy, guys. There aren't too many directions that you can go with the enchantment deck commanders. I feel they're kind of linear in that regard, but you do have a good engine here, a very solid commander. I would argue she may even be better than Estrid if you want to go with a single commander, just based on the engine that you can build around it. Estrid might be more potent when it comes to combos, but I just feel like you need more of a setup with that deck, whereas with Tuvasa, all you really need is like a totem armor, and then just start playing enchantments, and you should be good. She is only 3 mana, so it doesn't take much to recast her. Very good early game setup in a commander. You can't really go wrong there. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about Tuvasa the Sunlit. Let me know what you think about the 2018 Commander decks. This is probably the last week that I'm going to prioritize Commander 2018 in my polls. We do have Guilds of Ravnica, the Return to Ravnica, right around the corner in September, so I will probably be taking my focus off of Commander 2018 and gradually moving it over there. But I do hope you guys have enjoyed my Commander 2018 videos thus far. You all have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you all next video.